Good morning. We're glad you could join us for this beginning of the week edition of Wake Up Wiregrass. I'm Amanda Arnold. It's December 28th. It's a Monday. Let's check in now with Chief Meteorologist Ted King for a look at our weather. Welcome back, Ted.
Hey, Amanda. Great to be back, and I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday weekend. And the dawn is breaking on what will be a lovely day. However, it's cold out there right now, but no weather worries. There could be some fog. You may run into some of that early in your travels today. Cold. Temperatures in the low to middle 30s, some upper 20s as well. And with dew point temperatures close to the air temperatures, dew has formed. That dew has frozen onto your windshield, so prepare to do a little scraping out there this morning. But there are your highs. Getting up to, that's actually the early over the weekend. Actually, we're going to be much milder than that. We'll be well into the 60s. I will fix that for the next, for the bottom of the hour. Now I'll throw it back to Amanda.
All right, Ted, thank you so much. Well, finally, Sunday night, President Trump signed the COVID relief stimulus bill into law, releasing $900 billion in emergency relief funds into the economy and averting a Tuesday government shutdown. After holding the bill up for nearly a week, White House officials did not explain why he decided to suddenly back down and sign a bill into law that he had just days earlier referred to as, quote, a disgrace. But Mr. Trump signed the bill while vacationing in Florida on a weekend when he had allowed unemployment benefits for 14 million Americans to expire. Now for the latest and a look at the pressure the president was under to sign, here's ABC's Rachel Scott.
With the country on the verge of a government shutdown, President Trump finally signing the nearly $900 billion package Congress approved last week. It took Congress more than 6 months to negotiate this bipartisan stimulus bill to get aid to the American people. The president's own team, including Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, helped negotiate the bill. But when the president demanded last-minute changes, tweeting, "I simply want to get our great people $2,000 rather than the measly $600 that is now in the bill," some Republicans criticized him for not raising his objections sooner.
If the president wants to come up with more money to help more people, terrific. Let's sign this bill now so we can start getting our unemployment benefits out right away and then quickly pass another bill.
Senator Bernie Sanders said he also has reservations about the size of the checks, but that this bill needs to be signed.
Given the terrible economic crisis facing this country, yes, we do need to get $2,000 out to every working class individual in this country, $500 for their kid. But you can't diddle around with the bill.
Unemployment benefits had expired for millions of Americans, and in just a few days, the federal moratorium on evictions was set to end also. Many people agree $600 just isn't enough.
$600 is very insignificant for the individuals trying to feed their families.
Daniel Maris is just one of many struggling business owners who had pleaded with the president to sign the bill.
The American people are literally dying. They are starving. You're holding us hostage to this bill. Please sign the bill. We know it's not enough. We know it's not going to make up for everything, but it gets us by.
Rachel Scott, ABC News, Washington.
And now to that Christmas Day blast that damaged parts of downtown Nashville. Investigators are now calling that explosion a suicide bombing and are working to piece together a motive. Meanwhile, law enforcement officers who rushed to evacuate area residents are being hailed as heroes. ABC's Avery Harper with what we're learning about the man accused of causing the blast.
This morning, new traffic camera footage showing the moment an explosion rocked downtown Nashville. Shortly after 1 a.m. Christmas morning, this RV seen parked outside the AT&T building. Authorities viewing the surveillance video of the RV and an ominous warning. Along with a 60s pop song.
And it's downtown by Petulia Clark.
Investigators are now looking into Anthony Warner's psychiatric and medical history for clues to a motive.
That he was present when the bomb went off and that he perished in the bombing.
Following the explosion, agents could be seen carrying out bags of evidence from a home associated with him and reportedly exploring whether he may have been motivated by a paranoia over 5G cellular technology. Meanwhile, 6 Nashville police officers are now describing the moments before Friday's explosion. One of them was Officer Brenna Hosey, who helped a mother of 4 evacuate.
She said, okay, let me get my kids. And that kind of just like put my heart up in my throat.
The force of the blast left Officer James Wells with temporary hearing loss.
And then I hear a loud boom, and as I'm stumbling, because it rocked me that hard, I started stumbling. I just tell myself to stay on your feet, stay alive.
The Rasmussen family made it out of their home just in time.
As we're driving away, this massive explosion. I mean, it's this huge. I mean, I was looking forward driving, and I hear the sound, and the whole car shifts.
Officials say they're working to determine if the AT&T building where that RV was parked was the bomber's intended target. Avery Harper, ABC News, Washington.
A Nashville man who went out for a walk with his dog Friday morning feels lucky to be alive. Here's Josh Breslow with that story.
Early Christmas morning, a man and his dog out for a walk.
Or 6:30 in the morning, I mean, I'll say this, look, there's not a quieter time downtown than, Christmas morning. I noticed there was police cars at each corner with their lights on, and the guy from the 21C Hotel was running outside the building saying we got to evacuate.
Caught on camera, you see that officer talking to David Malloy, potentially saving him and his dog DJ from harm.
The officer was in the middle of the road of 2nd Avenue walking towards me, telling me to evacuate. And I said, why do I need to evacuate? And right then, boom. We were really, really fortunate that we didn't get hurt. And of course, myself and the officer and the other 2 officers, like I said, standing out there, the gentleman I was talking to, we were okay, just obviously scared the crap out of it. And it happened, boom. Windows were blowing out everywhere, and the building right adjacent to ours, all of their windows in the front blew out, top and bottom, everything.
The man hearing the warning from that RV, but thought it was a message of safety, not danger.
The recording that I was hearing, I just assumed it was coming from the police car, which, I was thinking, wow, I didn't know they could do that with a police car. But it was saying something to the effect of do not approach this vehicle, stand away. And it wasn't like super loud, but loud enough for me to make out a little bit of that. And then
the white flash, the explosion.
I checked our alley cameras, and our back door also blew wide open. And then I realized a little later that all the back doors of the buildings behind us, some of them are still wide open.
As for DJ,
she was fairly unfazed by it. I didn't know. Of course, I hope there's not a thunderstorm, and now she's freaked out by thunderstorms going forward. But I'm hoping that she's okay. So lucky. You're getting debris and glass all around everywhere, and just it's my Christmas miracle. I'll tell you that.
In Nashville, Josh Breslow.
He and one lucky dog, I will say. Well, fortunately, quite a different scene in the Wiregrass Christmas morning, peaceful and traditional, when at daybreak, WDHN's Microspan traveled through Geneva looking for young people checking out their new toys. Despite the frigid temperatures, he came across a boy and his younger sister who attend school at Mulkey Elementary, and here's what they told Mike about their 2020 Christmas presents from Santa.
I have a Barbie doll and a dinosaur and a stuffed animal. And I got some more clothes in my house.
So has Santa been pretty good this year?
Yes, sir. And my big brother, he also tried to help me, but sometimes it gets a little hard on this little skeleton. Looks mad.
Yes, I'm just very thankful that I get to celebrate with my kids and teach them the real reason of Christmas is Jesus. It's not all about the gifts and things. That's just an extra.
And millions of children, not only in the U.S. but also around the world, still checking out their toys, undoubtedly courtesy of Mr. Claus, who had a lot of extra help this year. The holidays can be a wonderful time in so many ways, but those not so fortunate endure the holidays alone or hungry and sometimes even homeless. That's where the Dothan Rescue Mission steps in, as WDHN's Michael Rinker found out.
Christmas is a day to gather around family, eat good food, and celebrate the birth of Jesus. For some, they are not fortunate enough to be with family or to prepare a big meal. But for 40 years, the Dothan Rescue Mission has been a haven for those that are lost or lonely by providing shelter and meals. During the holidays, the need for community help is vital to those who are alone.
It can be an emotional time for them. A lot of them are in a down place, and they're not feeling too loved, too hopeful. And for us just to come and spend some time with them and talk, just have conversations with them, just try to cheer them up as much as we can.
Over 40 people came and enjoyed a classic Christmas meal featuring ham, green bean casserole, yams, and a tray of desserts. For those serving, they chose to take time away from their own families to come out and serve their community, and for Ashley Montgomery, it was without hesitation.
God gave me a servant heart just when I started working here. You know, I've always loved people, but he really has given me the ability to show compassion to others, and I really enjoy my job. And so I did spend, morning away from my children, but I was able to spend the middle of the day with them and then come right back here and do what I love to do, which is serve others.
Now, if you're interested in receiving help or in volunteering, and the needs and services, of course, are ongoing beyond Christmas, you can call the Dothan Rescue Mission at 334-794-4637. We'll have more on Christmas kindness in the Wiregrass in our next half hour, and the story of two students who couldn't go to college, so they did something even better. But up next, Ted's extended weather forecast and how to keep would-be crooks from scoping out what you got for Christmas. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
This weather segment is sponsored by Physicians Hearing Center. You're watching WDHN's First Alert Weather.
And a big how-do once again, everybody. So glad to have you with us on this Monday edition of Wake Up Wiregrass. And I hope you had a great holiday weekend. Hope Santa Claus was really good to you as well. But anyway, back to the weather. The dawn is breaking on what will be a beautiful Monday. A cold start, though. Generally clear skies, the story right now. Could be a little bit of fog across parts of the region early on today. And some clouds off to the north and west may make it into the region later on today, but nothing to spoil a day. Really a beautiful day. I wanted to show you these temperatures first here to show you that cold air in place across the southeast now, but going to be replaced by milder air. Yeah, much milder air will be here. But let's get back to right now. Good morning, Dothan, 34 degrees. And again, with the calm winds and the dew point temperatures up close to the air temperature, could be some of that fog out there this morning. And Eufaula, good morning to you, the big winner, I guess, 29 degrees, the cool reading at Eufaula, and lots of temperatures right at the freezing point. Good morning, Ozark, Enterprise, Geneva, all at 32. Good morning, Blakely at 32 as well, and Crestview, Florida. But getting well into the 60s for highs later. Look at this, little Christmas present for you, huh? Temperatures well into the 60s, even eclipsing the 70-degree mark as we head towards the middle part of the week. However, yeah, you knew there was that coming. Showers and thunderstorms are in the forecast for later in the week. And you look around the rest of the nation, foregoing Fargo today, perhaps? Yeah, 8 degrees only there. But, you know, temperatures not really cold for this time of year, around the lower 48s, as a lot of the cold air has left the lower 48s. But anyway, around the rest of the nation, here's our next weather maker out here. You can see this spin right there. You might be able to barely see that off the coast between San Francisco and Los Angeles. This is going to move along the jet stream and produce a big snowstorm across the plain states. This trough, however, that is sponsoring that upper level low will shift eastward, and it'll move a little closer to us by tomorrow. But still, we have a lovely day tomorrow. Beautiful. Temperature is mild, and that trough gets here by New Year's Eve to bring us a chance for showers then. But nothing going on today, just a few clouds around. A lovely winter day it will be indeed, and a nice night tonight, not as cold as the last few nights, and a lovely Tuesday coming up, mostly sunny, mild today, very nice, upper 60s, nice night tonight, not as cold, lower 40s. Next 7 days looking like so beautiful for the next 3 days. Then showers and thunderstorms on New Year's Eve. Some of those could be on the strong side. Showers get out of here early New Year's Day. Temperatures remaining mild through the period. Amanda?
All right, Ted. Well, nice to see it warming up just a little bit. We're ready. Geneva County Sheriff Tony Helms says law enforcement often refers to the Christmas holiday period as the season for thieving. Sheriff Helms says it's unfortunate, but the criminal element often considers the holidays to be a time of their opportunity. He says that in today's world, rip-offs can occur either physically or online. So he reminds folks again how important it is to be aware of their surroundings when out and about, and to be careful of what personal information you share on the internet or when posting on social media.
We are seeing a little bit of an upswing, but we want people to just be aware of that and to be conscious of what you have. Be conscious of what you leave in your car. Be conscious of locking your car at night, taking the keys out of your car.
And Sheriff Helms says when putting out your garbage can this week, and this is a good tip in whatever city you live, make sure that no big gift boxes can be seen from the street, because he says crooks often check around residential garbage cans to see what new merchandise, what new goodies may be in the home, and just ripe for the picking. So those boxes out of sight, out of the criminals' minds, we hope. Well, when we come back, Rinker's Sports Report with a preview of the New Year's Alabama playoff game, how the past is motivating the present, plus Auburn's matchup in the Citrus Bowl, and Ted's Walk the Dog weather forecast. But first, a look outside, courtesy of the Durden Digital Cam, now overlooking beautiful downtown Dothan. It's 6:18 this Monday morning. Do stay with us. We'll be right back.
You're watching WDHN Sports.
Good morning, sports fans. I hope everybody had a wonderful Merry Christmas and the weekend that ensued after that. Speaking of Christmas, there was some football happening in Montgomery. It was at the Crampton Bowl. We had a Camellia Bowl game featuring Buffalo taking on Marshall from Conference USA, and this was a tight one, 35 degrees on Christmas Day. That's pretty cold. Not for the Buffalo Bulls, though. Here we are, scoreless in the second quarter. They're inside the 5. Quarterback sneak gets everybody, and that is Kyle Vantrease walking in for the score. The Buffalo Bulls strike first, and they're without their main running back there, but no problem. Later in the first half, Marshall trying to get into the game down 10-0. Grant Wells takes the chance. Corey Camage says, yes, sir, I'll make it up for you with a great grab. Look at that. 2 feet down. Yes, sir. Drags that back left foot. That's a catch. Now they're inside the 5, 2 plays later. And they finish it off with a Knowledge McDaniel 2-yard score, and that is quite the name, Knowledge McDaniel. His mom must have been a professor or something. Fast forward to 4 minutes left in the game, all tied at 10. Vantrease going to go deep, and he's going to hit Antonio Nunn inside the 20, and they're looking great with just minutes to play. Now under 1:15 left in the game, and they take the lead. Kevin Marks Jr. gets into the end zone, 17-10. They go on to win the Camellia Bowl in Montgomery, and they're partying at the Crampton Bowl. Now we're just 5 days away from Alabama and Auburn's bowl games, and let's take a place New Year's Day. Let's go ahead and look at it. Alabama, they were awarded the #1 seed in the college football playoff, which sets them up with a date against the 10-1 Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Looking at this game, it's going to be a battle of who's able to play the way they want to. Alabama, we've seen the offense and what it could do, averaging 45 points a game. They're really unstoppable, so to say, and it starts with Najee Harris. They got to get him involved in both the running and passing attack, and that's going to help Mac Jones get all the weapons he wants to get involved as well. But Notre Dame, they're a tough physical team, and they've proven that they can score if they have to, like we saw in their first game against Clemson. But for the most part, they want to pound the running attack and play good defense. Ian Book, you see him right there. He's a matchup nightmare, considering he can run, escape the pocket, and extend plays, and really put the Tide defense in a bad position. But the Crimson Tide, they missed the playoffs last year, so they're more worried about punching everybody in the mouth and getting the job done this year.
Felt disappointed knowing that our season got cut short. We felt like we had the opportunity to be in there, and unfortunately we didn't. And it gave us extra motivation going on into this season. So we kept our heads down and just kept working to get to this point, you know.
All right, also playing on Fridays, the Auburn Tigers, and they're going to be just east of us in Orlando when they take on Northwestern in the Citrus Bowl. And the Tigers, as we know, are under the rule of interim head coach Kevin Steele. And Brian Harson's expected to be at the game watching his new team. But the Tigers, they run into a team that has a lot in common with them. First off, both quarterbacks, Bo Nix and Peyton Ramsey, are dual threat quarterbacks. They contribute to not only the passing attack, but also to the running dominant styles that each team carries. Both teams this year have averaged over 150 yards on the ground, but Northwestern, they're only throwing for about 185 compared to Auburn's 230. And where the Wildcats' strength lies is in their scoring defense. They've given up only 15 points a game, which really shows that their defense may give up yards, but they don't give up touchdowns. So this game will come down to how Auburn can run the ball. Tank Bigsby's better be healthy, and they got to capitalize on when they get inside the 30 and score touchdowns, not field goals. And if you want to watch this game, you can do so right here on ABC this Friday at noon. That's going to be it for sports on this Monday. Everybody go out, have a great start to your week. Happy New Year, and I'll see you tomorrow.
All righty, a nice day it will be. Starting out chilly, though. Many communities right around the freezing point at the present time, but getting well into the 60s later today. Mostly sunny skies. Yes, milder than we have been. Right around 67 for highs. Amanda?
All right. Thank you, Ted. Well, when Wake Up Wiregrass continues in our next half hour, why many are breathing a huge sigh of relief with the COVID relief bill. What we know now about that Christmas morning explosion in downtown Nashville, remembering a heartbreaking tragedy in Geneva, and our studio guest talks about free legal help for folks struggling financially during this pandemic. Much more ahead. Do stay with us. Good morning and welcome to another new week of Wake Up Wiregrass. Glad you could join us. I'm Amanda Arnold. It's Monday, December 28th. And first off, let's see what Chief Meteorologist Ted King has to say in a first look at our weather. Ted.
All right, thank you, Amanda, and good morning, everybody. Hope you had a great holiday week and no weather woes out there this morning. Perhaps some fog, some of the more rural areas. You might run into some of that this morning, but I think most of you won't. However, just keep in mind that there could be a little bit out there. Temperatures right around the freezing point for many communities, and with dew point temperatures very close to the air temperature, yeah, there's a lot of frost out there on the windshield, so be prepared for some of that. But look what Uncle Ted has for you, huh? A little bit of a belated Christmas present, perhaps. Milder weather, right around freezing early on, getting well into the 60s, mostly sunny skies. So a good-looking day coming up. I'll let you know about the rest of the week coming up in just a little while. Amanda?
Hey, Uncle Ted, thank you so much. Good work and good to have you back. Well, help is finally on the way for millions of Americans. President Trump relented last night and signed the COVID relief bill. This follows days of chaos triggered by his 11th hour demand for bigger stimulus checks after the legislation was overwhelmingly approved by both parties. In addition now to green-lighting the new round of direct payments, the president's signature restarts lapsed unemployment benefits and dodges a looming government shutdown. ABC's Mona Kosar Abdi has details.
Nearly 1 week after calling it a disgrace, President Trump is backing down, agreeing late Sunday to sign a $2.3 trillion coronavirus relief and government funding bill, averting a government shutdown just hours before tonight's deadline. In a statement, the president saying, quote, I am signing this bill to restore unemployment benefits, stop evictions, provide rental assistance, add money for the Paycheck Protection Program, and much more. The president, spending the weekend golfing in Florida, had faced intense pressure to give in as unemployment benefits for 14 million Americans expired. It took Congress 6 months to negotiate the bipartisan relief bill. The president's own team, including Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, helped negotiate it. But then the president last week demanding last-minute changes, tweeting, quote, I simply want to get our great people $2,000 rather than the measly $600 that is now in the bill. Some Republicans criticized him for not raising his objections earlier.
If you want to make a $2,000 check, negotiate that from the beginning.
I understand he wants to be remembered for advocating for big checks, but the danger is he'll be remembered for chaos and misery and erratic behavior if he allows this to expire.
The president, in a statement last night, suggested he signed the bill after the Senate agreed to consider increasing the checks to $2,000, which the House is expected to pass today. But Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell made no such commitment in his statement overnight, saying only that the president's, quote, leadership has prevented a government shutdown at a time when our nation could not have afforded one. Meanwhile, the delay in approving the bill already having consequences. Those Americans getting the extra $300 in unemployment benefits will likely miss 1 week of payments because of the delay.
I worry and I care about myself and my family. We need COVID relief so bad.
Mona Kosar Abdi, ABC News, New York.
And now to that Christmas Day blast that damaged parts of downtown Nashville. Investigators are now calling that explosion a suicide bombing and are working to piece together a motive. Meanwhile, law enforcement officers who rushed to evacuate area residents are being hailed as heroes. ABC's Avery Harper with what we're learning about the man accused of causing that blast.
This morning, new traffic camera footage showing the moment an explosion rocked downtown Nashville. Shortly after 1 a.m. Christmas morning, this RV seen parked outside the AT&T building. Authorities viewing this surveillance video of the RV and an ominous warning. Along with a 60s pop song.
And it's downtown by Petulia Clark.
Investigators are now looking into Anthony Warner's psychiatric and medical history for clues to a motive.
That he was present when the bomb went off and that he perished in the bombing.
Following the explosion, agents could be seen carrying out bags of evidence from a home associated with him and reportedly exploring whether he may have been motivated by a paranoia over 5G cellular technology. Meanwhile, 6 Nashville police officers are now describing the moments before Friday's explosion. One of them was Officer Brenna Hosey, who helped a mother of 4 evacuate.
She said, okay, let me get my kids. And that kind of just like put my heart up in my throat.
The force of the blast left Officer James Wells with temporary hearing loss.
And then I hear a loud boom, and as I'm stumbling, because it rocked me that hard, I started stumbling. I just tell myself to stay on your feet, stay alive.
The Rasmussen family made it out of their home just in time.
As we're driving away, this massive explosion. I mean, it's this huge. I mean, I was looking forward driving, and I hear the sound, and the whole car shifts.
Officials say they're working to determine if the AT&T building where that RV was parked was the bomber's intended target. Avery Harper, ABC News, Washington.
1 year ago, Christmas night, an unforgettable tragedy of immense proportions occurred in the western Wiregrass. Just after 6 o'clock, December 25th, 2019, 3 Geneva High School students were killed when the SUV they were riding in ran off the road and crashed into a wooded area. Cassidy Dunn, Emily Fain, and Addison Martin were either sophomores or juniors. That section of East Westville Avenue, which goes over the Geneva Levee, has since been permanently fenced off. But now, 12 months later, Geneva City School officials say the loss remains vivid, not only for the families in Geneva High School, but also for the entire city. The teenagers' friends and even strangers continue to maintain a memorial at the site of the accident. Governor Kay Ivey's office released news last week of federal grant money earmarked to help victims of domestic violence. In the Rocket City, $150,000 of the $220,000 grant will go to Asha Kiran Incorporated. The Huntsville-based nonprofit provides culturally sensitive crisis intervention in at least 49 languages in the Birmingham, Montgomery, and Mobile metro areas. The remaining $70,000 of that grant money will go to the Alabama Coalition Against Domestic Violence to help with its economic justice project. Up next, Ted's extended weather forecast and feeding people in need locally, and with FarmLink, a national program linking farmer surplus to food banks. What a concept that's making a real-life big difference. Do stay with us.
This weather segment is sponsored by Physicians Hearing Center. You're watching WDHN's First Alert Weather.
And good morning once again, everybody. So glad to have you with us on this Monday edition of Wake Up Wiregrass. Hope you had a great holiday weekend. I hope Santa Claus was good to you as well. But anyway, back to the weather. And right now, cold out there, but no significant weather going on. Generally clear skies. Could be a little bit of fog here and there across parts of the region. Some of these clouds may make it into the area later today, but in general, mostly sunny, okay? And as the cold air departs, will be replaced by some much milder air for much of this week. Look at 50 in Birmingham, while it's 34 in Montgomery. So this milder air will be displacing the colder air across the region. And good morning, Dothan, 34 degrees, light winds and dew point temperatures close enough to the air temperature to cause some dew. So that dew has frozen. So there's frost on the windshield out there this morning. You follow the cold reading. Good morning to you, 29 degrees. Abbeville and Ozark, good morning to you at 32. Enterprise 31 in Geneva. Hello, Geneva, 32 for you. Getting well into the 60s. A belated Christmas present from me to you this week. Much milder temperatures, eclipsing the 70-degree mark as we head toward the middle part of the week. But yeah, there's some rain in the forecast. And you'll notice there's some very cold air across the northern plain states. For the next week or so, there's not going to be any really cold air invading the lower 48 states. So that's good news for many of the folks around the good old USA. Our next weather maker currently out here off the Pacific coast. You see a bit of a spin right here. That's encased in a trough in the upper atmosphere. This particular upper low will move off into the plain states, giving them some snow. Later on, some other energy later on this week will dive down into this trough and have it shift eastward, okay? And that's going to bring us some rain on New Year's Eve and some thunderstorms possible as well. But by tomorrow, the trough doesn't move a whole lot. But again, by Wednesday and on into New Year's Eve, this trough will be far enough eastward. It'll grab the Gulf moisture, and you know the song and dance with that, showers and thunderstorms. And again, on New Year's Eve, some of those could be on the strong side, but a lovely day once again for us for tomorrow. So maybe a few clouds around today, but nothing to spoil the fun. Nice night coming up for you for tonight, and a beautiful Tuesday coming up. And after the cold weather we have been experiencing, this is going to be a nice change this week. So for today, after we get rid of the morning chill, mostly sunny, mild, well into the 60s for highs later today. And for the next 7 days, approaching the 70-degree mark tomorrow. Yeah, going to be making a run at it with sunny skies. Wednesday, mild. Clouds arrive later in the day. And then Thursday and on into Thursday night, showers and thunderstorms will be in the region. Look at those warm temperatures, well into the 70s on New Year's Eve, and temperatures remaining mild right on through the weekend. Amanda?
Well, that's going to feel great. Thank you so much, Ted. We mentioned earlier today about Dothan's rescue mission efforts on Christmas Day. Well, now Annie's Cafe and Enterprise. It held its annual Christmas Day meal for the entire community. Restaurant co-owner Matt Larson says, especially during this pandemic, there are plenty of people who are going hungry. There was no inside dining, but a meal drive-through was set up in the parking lot of the Enterprise Farmers Market. Initially, this free Christmas meal was for first responders and less fortunate families, but as well, and as soldiers on the post. But now everybody got invited.
The community here supports us. A lot of people eat here, and we have a lot of great customers that help donate for this meal, whether it be food or finances or just their time, and we're just trying to give back to our community.
Larson says this meal would not have been possible if not for the volunteers and generosity of financial donors throughout the year. Of course, hunger is not exclusive to Dothan, Enterprise, or the rest of the Wiregrass. This is a problem that's only gotten worse during the COVID-19 pandemic. But a nationwide movement of college students called Hunger in America is starting to make a difference. ABC's Megan Tavrezian recently discovered how.
This morning, a group of college students is showing us all that in the season of giving, anything is possible.
We're doing everything we can to deliver as many meals as possible to people in need.
Last spring, when the pandemic put millions out of work and the lines at local food banks stretched for miles on end, these friends saw people struggling to find food and farmers unable to sell their produce. That's when they decided they needed to bridge the food gap.
We just started calling as many farmers as we could. And, probably on the 150th call, one of them had a surplus. So we just rented a truck and delivered it to our local food bank.
They created a pipeline between farmers, suppliers, and food banks. And before they knew it, the FarmLink project went from a local effort to a nationwide initiative.
3 weeks in, suddenly I had emails in my inbox. A man in Texas who had a pickup truck and wanted to help make shipments.
The team already delivering more than 14 million meals to those who need it, and say they don't plan on stopping anytime soon.
This year, we've set the goal of delivering 20 million pounds of food by the end of 2020.
Many farmers have struggled to sell excess produce because the pandemic has shut down major buyers like schools and restaurants. Megan Tavrizian, ABC News, San Diego.
Talk about a solution. Well, linking people who need free legal help in the Wiregrass with Legal Services of Alabama. Our live studio interview is next. Don't go away. This morning, we welcome back to Wake Up Wiregrass Ms. Kristy Kirkland of Legal Services of Alabama, a nonprofit law firm that provides free civil legal aid to clients who are indigent and unable to otherwise afford an attorney on their own. Welcome back, Kristy. We are keeping our proper social distance this morning. Our Dillard's Christmas tree kind of brightening the occasion because it's very, very bleak for so many people. And, you know, even though we finally get this COVID relief bill signed, things are delayed in the hopper, so to speak. How are you coping? What is getting the most requests? What are you getting the most calls for?
We are getting a lot of calls about unemployment compensation and evictions. Mm-hmm. Those are our biggest things. We're very worried about the Wiregrass in terms of housing insecurity because if you can't work, you can't pay your rent, and if you can't pay your rent, you're going to get evicted.
What kind of relief is there for people who are on in the eviction line there?
Right now, there is a CDC moratorium on evictions if the only reason you can't pay your rent is that you've lost your job or you don't have enough money. That was extended with President Trump signing the stimulus bill last night. It was extended to January 31st. It was set to expire 3 days from now. We were very, very concerned because we had several clients statewide who were only relying on that moratorium. And the thing is, the moratorium isn't keeping them from paying rent. They're still going to be responsible for that rent at the end of the year. All it's doing is delaying the inevitable, pushing it out so that they still have housing and a roof over their heads.
Well, and that's job one. I mean, that's the most important thing. But like you said, it only moves that deadline just farther down the pike there. So what practical tips for people who are facing eviction, what would you recommend?
Absolutely. It's, in terms of this stimulus, when you get it, save it. Because you don't know what the next thing's going to hold. You don't know who in your family's going to have COVID, what you're going to have to take off. We also have we have on our website, alabamalegalhelp.com, we have the moratorium declaration that you have to give to your landlord in order to claim the moratorium.
What does that say?
It basically says I cannot afford to pay my rent because of job loss or because my job has slowed down. I make under $99,000 a year, and therefore I'm claiming this exemption because I have a hardship and I'm not able to pay my rent at this point in time, so please do not evict me.
So what is the limit? I make under how much?
$99,000 a year.
Well,
per person.
That's a substantial amount.
It is.
And how many folks who are in that income bracket are on the verge of eviction?
I have heard estimates as high as 1/4.
Wow.
Actually even higher in some places. It depends on who you're talking to, but it's this pandemic is showing how unstable our housing really is in the United States. It's a lot more unstable than people realize, and that people don't realize one missed paycheck can mean you're out on the street.
That's right. People are just one paycheck away from disaster. Now, unemployment, you say that's backed up, and there's problems with the unemployment. You're getting a lot of calls on that, too.
We have been. Unfortunately, the system in Alabama just wasn't designed to take the level of influx that they've seen since the pandemic started. So unemployment, the Department of Labor has been working very closely with legal services, with people that are trying to help people with unemployment. If you get denied, call us, because unemployment is something that we're able to help with. We can give you tips on how to get back to the line. There's an appeals process. There's a way to go in person and appeal this in Montgomery as well. So, and we have kind of figured out the way to do that.
Well, it seems to me, Ms. Kristy Kirkland, that Legal Services of Alabama is a lifeline for a lot of people, and especially during a pandemic. So one more time, can we show that website and a phone number that we have for that? There we go. We've got the intake line. That's the number you call if you've got any questions and you want to get involved. And then there's a website. I think we put that one up. There it is. alabamalegalhelp.com, and then your local number is 334-651-8707. You're on West Main here in Dothan. But right now, you're on Wake Up Wiregrass. And I just want to thank you so much, Kristy Kirkland, for coming back here, especially at a time when we need it most. And we didn't know overnight if we were going to have a little sigh of relief. And it is a little sigh.
It is.
But it gets us to the next one, to the next
one.
Exactly.
We're kicking that can down the road, but at least it's being kicked some.
You bet. Thank you so very much. We'll be right back after these messages. Don't go away.
All right, after a chilly morning, a splendid day coming up all across the region. We'll be in the upper 30s by 9 a.m. Lots of sunshine this morning, maybe a few clouds around this afternoon, but a lot of sunshine as well. Temperatures well into the 60s, up near 70 tomorrow with sunny skies. Wednesday, still a nice day. Clouds arrive late, showers and thunderstorms on Thursday. Some of those could be on the strong side. Amanda?
All right, Ted, you almost could say it's good fishing weather out there. Now, everybody loves a good story, and Bill Wood caught one about a couple of guys who graduated from high school with plans to go to college, but when the pandemic hit, they hit the road instead, looking for fishing holes.
They were just a couple of college kids, teenagers, about to be roommates at Clemson in South Carolina. Then COVID came along to crash the party.
Not only did COVID take away the last couple months of our high school experience, but also took away our entire freshman year of college.
That is Luke Conson.
It was a nightmare. It derailed our college experience a week before it even began.
And that's his best friend, Daniel Balsarac.
The hooks that you got are like 4-aught hooks.
Yeah, that's true.
These guys are driven to learn all right, but not online in a computer classroom like a lot of students right now. So they quit college to go on the road.
I got I bought some more jigs too, I think.
Dropping out of school for a year and dropping into something that really trains your brain. They've gone fishing across America, starting in Times Square, stopping in every state, angling to catch every state fish. So far, they've hit 25 of the country's best fishing holes. Halfway to the finish line, they're in Louisiana now on Lake Pontchartrain, hoping to snag a speckled trout.
Yeah. Why are we doing it? Well, no one has ever gone to all 50 states and caught all 50 state fish before.
On this trip, sorry, no 5-star hotel accommodations, just the 5-speed minivan borrowed from Luke's mom. This is a dramatic recreation. The fish are biting, gentlemen. Time to get up. Yeah, pretty soon it'll be time to go back to bed. It's not the education they figured on, but it's the one they figured out.
We've been able to meet people and have experiences that, honestly, you couldn't attain in a million college classes.
If anybody asks about Luke and Daniel's first year at the university, well, a crisis caused them to take a freshman detour, Plan B, planning to give themselves an A.
And after Louisiana,
for their homework assignment, to fish all 50.
Next stop, Georgia.
And we welcome you boys to Alabama when it's their turn to come here, and we appreciate what you're doing. Well, we are so glad you could join us this morning, and we hope you can get out there, enjoy this lovely weather, maybe do a little fishing yourself. Meantime, we hope to see you right back here tomorrow. Thanks again for joining us. Have a great day. Stay safe. Christmas is over. We're on our way to New Year's, y'all. Take good care. See you tomorrow. Bye.